Thanks for staying with us here on this morning's broadcast on News Central Television. Let's take a look at the top stories for news now for this hour. Fire guards Radio Nigeria office in Ikoyi, Lagos. We have details of that story. President Tinubu arrives France on state visit. And polling stations stay open later as thousands wait to vote in Namibia. Stay with us to get details in a moment. I am Joe Hansen. A late evening fire broke out last night at Radio Nigeria's office located on plot number 35 Ikoyi Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. The cause of the fire remains unknown as firefighters from the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service alongside other emergency responders actively managed the situation. According to a statement by Margaret Adeshaye, director of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, the agency was alerted at approximately 5:30 p.m. Firefighters from the Dolphin, Ebute Elefun and Oba Onitolo fire stations arrived to combat the flames, which had engulfed the studio section of the building. No casualties have been reported and investigations are still in progress. Authorities have promised to keep the public updated as more information becomes available.
The mecca of broadcasting in Nigeria.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu arrived in Paris on Wednesday for a three-day state visit aimed at strengthening Nigeria-France relations. Welcomed with military honors by the French Republican Guard at Orly Airport, President Tinubu's official engagements begin Thursday at the historic Les Invalides, where he will meet French President Emmanuel Macron and First Lady Brigitte Macron. The visit will focus on boosting ties in agriculture, security, education, health, energy, and youth engagement. Key events include bilateral talks, a session with the France-Nigeria Business Council, and a state dinner. The First Ladies will also discuss initiatives supporting women, children, and vulnerable groups. Moving on now, ahead of the 2027 general elections, the presidential candidate of the 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, has met with some chieftains of the All Progressives Congress from Kano to discuss on a possible coalition aimed at wresting power from the ruling APC. Obi met with A. Zaura at his Aso Drive residence in Abuja behind closed doors for over an hour, as many suspect the meeting is part of moves to reposition himself as a prime contender in the upcoming 2027 general elections. Zaura was an All Progressives Congress senatorial candidate for Kano Central during the 2023 general elections and is regarded as a key political figure in the state. And on now to judicial matters, the Federal High Court in Maitama has ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to keep in custody the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, till December the 10th this year, until the ruling of his bail application has been made. The anti-graft agency had arraigned the embattled governor, asking the court to deny him bail after he has evaded arrest on different occasions. For News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu has more in this report.
The embattled ex-governor Yahaya Bello appeared in court alongside his alleged accomplices for the first time after resisting arrest by the anti-graft agency. Bello pleaded not guilty to the 16-count charge leveled against him by the EFCC, bordering on conspiracy, illegal possession of several properties, and criminal breach of trust amounting to 110 billion naira. After taking their pleas, Joseph Daudu, counsel to Bello, moved the bail application for the former governor, but counsel to the EFCC opposed the application, arguing that the application had been invalid since October. Making further clarifications, the counsel to the defendant says that the only relevant application before the court was the motion for the bail in respect to the first defendant, which is the ex-governor, which was filed on November the 22nd. The court then fixed December the 10th to rule on the bail application. Attempts to get the reaction of the counsel failed as they refused making comments. The complexity involved in the ex-governor Yahaya Bello case is the fact that the ex-governor has evaded arrest several times. He has refused to turn up in court despite invitation from court. And now the AFCC has found an opportunity of arraigning him. And of course, the time given between now and will give the EFCC ample opportunity, ample time to be able to, file their processes very well, to be able to be sure that they are going to have the governor from the beginning to the end of the case. Here in Abuja, for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Staying with judicial matters, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja has struck down Section 2, subsection 10B of the National Broadcasting Code, 6th edition, which required broadcasters to pay 2.5% of their gross annual income as an annual operating levy. This judgment followed a suit filed by Multi-Choice Nigeria Limited and Details Nigeria Limited against the National Broadcasting Commission. Delivering judgment on Wednesday, Justice Omotosho ordered that the provision be struck down and replaced with net annual income instead of the existing gross annual income. The court also barred the National Broadcasting Commission from demanding the plaintiff's VAT, remittance, FIRS reports, bank statements, audit adjustment journals, trial balances, and general ledgers for the purpose of computing the plaintiff's annual income, other than the annual audited accounts of the companies as stipulated in the NBC Code. The judge stated that the NBC can only assess the other financial documents of Multi-Choice through sister agencies such as the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. Let's now move to security matters. Troops of the Multinational Joint Task Force, MNJTF, foiled a night attack by ISWAP Boko Haram terrorists in Karawa, Cameroon on Monday, November 25. Operating under Sector 1 in Mora, the troops intercepted the attackers and engaged them in a fierce gunfight, killing 2 terrorists while others fled. During a subsequent sweep of the area, the troops recovered a grenade and an improvised explosive device, IED, neutralizing future threats. The MNJTF reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining peace and stability in the Lake Chad region through vigilance and sustained operations. We now head to the Parliament, where some lawmakers protested against a motion to suspend its rules and proceedings to allow the chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zacchaeus Adeliji, and the chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, Taiwo Yedele, into the Red Chamber. This was after the Senate suspended its rules to admit Adeliji and the consultants into plenary to explain what the tax reform bill entailed. However, before they were admitted, a slight uproar ensued as some lawmakers kicked against the FIRS chairs and the consultants' entry to the chamber. The heated exchange underscored the growing tension surrounding the tax reform bill, which has drawn widespread public interest and concern over its potential impact on Nigeria's economy.
And I listen to the leader most appropriately. I don't see anywhere whereby the senators should allow these people to come here and make the kind of interactions they so want. However, committees of the Senate and Appropriation can invite for the interaction of this manner, but not the Senate in session. I think our rule does not cover invitation to consultants or any official of government to come and bring the sentence. I so submit.
Use the position of the Senate, because the order paper is clear, and we have been doing this. I have no problem having them to come here and explain whatever. We have been doing that, but we follow known procedures. And that is, if today this thing has to be taken, you now quickly ask for supplementary order paper that will reflect this. And as you say, this is a very, very important matter. It is not a matter that you just come and tell us after we are doing business of the day. Mr. President, you can have your way, but I will have my say. You will have your way, but I can have my say. You can use the gavel, and I will use my voice.
Arrangement. We want to be open. We want Nigerians to know. We want everybody to know what's wrong here. We are trying to make everything open, live. Let everybody listen. The chairman is here. And why are you saying you don't want that to be done? This is wrong. 1B, which the leader came under. Can you read order 1B for me, please? Can you read order 1B? Okay. Order 1B read as follows. In all cases not provided for in this standing order, or by sessional or other orders or practice of the Senate.
Staying with the Parliament, the House of Representatives has passed the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper for 2025-2027. In passing the MTEF, the committees on finance, petroleum upstream and petroleum downstream were tasked to investigate reports from the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Responsibility Commission alleging that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited's withheld 8.48 trillion naira's claimed subsidies for petrol. Additionally, the investigation will address the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative's report stating that NNPC failed to remit $2 billion, about 3.6 trillion naira in taxes to the federal government. The committees were further directed to verify the total cumulative amount of unremitted revenue on the recovery from the sale of premium motor spirit by the NNPCL between 2020 and 2023. Welcome back. Barely 2 weeks after Governor of Delta State, Sheriff Borowori, presented a 936.2 billion naira budget estimate for the 2025 financial year, the State House of Assembly has passed the State Appropriation Bill for the services of the state for the 2025 financial year. The passed budget, referred to as Budget of Fiscal Consolidation, experienced an increase in the total amount from 936.2 billion naira presented to the House for Legislative Actions by State Governor Borowori to 979.2 billion naira. New Central Correspondent Austin Azu reports that the various ministries, MDAs, agencies and parastatals had taken turns to defend their budget estimate before the various House committees. Chairman of the Assembly Committee on Finance and Appropriation, Marilyn Okowa Daramola, who presented the committee reports, revealed the recurrent expenditure estimate was modified from 348.717 billion naira to 348.767 billion naira, whereas capital expenditure rose to 630.461 billion naira from 587.361 billion naira.
It is observed that the year 2025 proposed budget is 211 billion more than the 2024 approved sum of 725 billion, indicating an increase of 29%. This increase was largely attributed to the exchange rate and higher fact allocations, in addition to corresponding improvements on our internally generated revenue. Proposed allocations to fund activities across different priority sectors identified include agriculture, 7 billion, health, 30.25 billion, water resources, 11.03 billion, education, 67.42 billion, and roads, 230 billion.
Meanwhile, Governor Sheriff Borowori has called upon statisticians in the country to provide accurate data for national development. The governor, through his deputy Monday Onyeme, made the call on Wednesday in Asaba at the opening of the second biannual meeting of the National Consultative Committee on Statistics. He emphasized that accurate data is a crucial resource in any decision-making process. The Statistician General of Nigeria, Prince Adeyemi Adeniran, in his address, said the National Consultative Committee on Statistics, NCCS, serves as a platform for key actors across the statistical ecosystem.
I therefore charge you all to leverage on technology in your bid to enhance data integration, cohesion, accuracy, reliability, and efficiency, and to create a data ecosystem that will be of benefit to all Nigerians.
As usual, MBS will continue to play our own fatherly role as the coordinator of the system to support all members to live up to their mandate of producing timely and reliable information for all our users. We also continue to advocate for the passage and establishment of independent state bureau of statistics across the country, particularly for those states that are yet to pass their laws.
Staff of the Abuja Distribution Electricity Company with their counterparts from the National Union of Electricity Employees and the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies barricaded the entrance of the company. They were protesting over unpaid pension arrears, casualization of workers, and the non-implementation of the National Minimum Wage Scheme for workers. They accuse the management of the company of not taking the matter of staff welfare seriously, despite earning tremendous revenue in the course of their operations. Amadine Uyi has more in this report.
They conveyed on the premises of the headquarters of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company. They accused the management of the company of maltreating staff, saying they have not treated their staff well.
We gave the management an ultimatum. The first instance, we gave them 14 days ultimatum. Then the second instance, we gave them 7 days ultimatum. We have a 10-point demand that has been lingering for long. And the management and the board, they are just showing us wickedness.
They have never done anything to improve the welfare of the staff. No promotion, no increments, no even small increase in their salary. Ever since they took over from government as a private entity, things remain like that.
They say the staff of the company have remained demoralized and called on the management to change their attitude towards staff welfare.
If a staff is working and the pension that he's supposed to get is not being paid by the management, what do you expect? The person will be demoralized. So we are demanding that our members and the general staff of AEDC, that their pensions are outstanding, be paid to them accordingly. Also, we are demanding that healthcare should improve in AEDC. We say no to death of our members or ignorance to injuries and pains of our members. The board has been interfering so much in the welfare of our members here. They are there to improve, but they are destroying the organization. So we are demanding they dissolve the board, or there should be an improvement for the staff.
They are not living up to their responsibility. My brother, my friend, I will tell you, they are not living up to their responsibility. They can easily say it, but they will not do it. You understand? If they are monitoring or they are living up to the responsibility of making sure that workers get what is rightful belong to them, they should follow it up and make sure that the management of AEDC do the right thing.
They are also accusing government agencies oversighting the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company of not living up to their responsibilities. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Still on wage matters, Plateau State has joined about 20 other states across Nigeria to pay the 70,000 naira minimum wage to civil servants in their various states, as agreed with labor unions, owing to the current economic hardship in the country. This was confirmed by the Plateau State chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, the head of civil service in the state, and the chairman, Association of Local Governments of Nigeria. In exclusive interviews with News Central's Chizoba Nyongwe in Jos, the Plateau State capital, they said the deal was agreed upon between the labor unions in the state and the state governor, Caleb Muftwang. According to them, implementation of the deal, which translates into payment of the agreed sum, is effective November 2024.
The state government has agreed to pay the 70,000 minimum wage and all the consequential adjustments therein. We signed an agreement with the unions about a week or so ago. We are going to start with the November salary, and I want to believe this week or early next week, they will get their November salary with the new minimum wage.
For fears of maybe the sustainability of the payment, I think he has also been taken care of for the future. So we don't pray for that anyway. But I think the governor has graciously looked into that and is willing to see to it that he don't start and then he fails. I think it's part of the condition he gave. You know, the implementation and then sustainability forms part of the negotiation as of the time we were.
Actually, we've been having a little bit problem with the workers. They are not coming up to work. So actually, with this minimum wage, they should tidy up because everybody should have to come to work specifically. If not that, we have to take a strong measure, serious measure of how people should be prompt in their duty posts.
To sustain the fight against substance abuse, stakeholders say sensitization on the negative effects of the menace should be taken to the nooks and crannies of Abia State. In line with this, the state government recently constituted the Abia State Drug Control Committee as a vehicle to help spread the message of ending substance abuse. Chinwe Ogele reports that parts of the action plans are to reduce production and trafficking of illicit drugs and dismantling of drug dealers. Take a look.
The sight of young people with mental illness roaming the streets of the cities is always a reminder that more attention needs to be given to children while still in the care of their parents. The commander of the National Drug Law Emergency Agency, Adenawa Adetunji in Abia State, gives his assessment of the prevalence of the substance abuse.
Yes, it is very high, and we are on top of our game.
Within 1 year, he says the command has prosecuted and convicted over 100 persons over substance abuse in the state.
Our efforts to at least limit the way drugs are being trafficked or used in Abia. There are notable places that we have taken the war to.
Beyond the punitive measures being meted out to the victims, the need to correct and redirect them was equally highlighted.
Our orientation on this position is that we are always condemning drug addicts without knowing that we are equally addicted to one type of drug or the other.
The growing concerns of the increasing cases of victims of illicit drug abuse ravaging the active population in Abia State is the reason for the constitution of a Committee on Drugs Abuse Control.
A task of sensitization, a task of ensuring that we reach to the most remote communities, letting them know that this is something that we shouldn't be doing. We want people to be sound.
The resource persons are unanimous in their position that everyone needs to contribute in discouraging people from consuming illicit substances.
Madness in the society. You see that people are no longer thinking aright. People are no longer acting aright. More especially our youth, you see them running riots.
Wife of Abia State Governor Priscilla Oti is calling on all opinion molders to support the fight against substance abuse.
You have the strength, resilience, and capacity to overcome addiction and live a healthy, fulfilling life. I call on our people to shun the stigmatization of substance abuse victims. This could limit their willingness to seek help.
For the population that is most hit by this trend, how well informed are they about the dangers of illicit drug consumption?
Drug abuse is not meant to be someone's life. It's not meant to be someone's part of life. It's not meant to be an attitude in someone's life. It's something everybody should isolate.
The committee, which membership is drawn from all sectors of economy, will be inaugurated on a later date. In Omaha for News Central, I am Chinwe Ogele.
Premier West African financial institution First Bank has pledged its unwavering commitment to the realization of the China-Africa Interbank Association's objectives within the shortest possible time. The Chief Executive Officer of the First Bank Group made this declaration during the 2024 China-Africa Interbank Association Forum, which the bank hosted in Abuja. A correspondent, Joshua Imarayi, reports.
The need to join hands in advancing modernization and strengthening China-Africa trade, industrialization, and economic diversification was the focus as the premier West African financial institution hosted the 2024 China-Africa Interbank Association Forum in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The event witnessed the convergence of participants from across Africa. Speaking at the event, stakeholders said that the forum will seek stronger partnership for the betterment of Africa and China.
This is just an evidence or confirmation of strengthened partnership between Nigeria and China. China is the biggest trading partner with Nigeria, and for many African countries. So you can see participants from across Africa that are here, and so this partnership will be strengthened in such a way that it will be a win-win for both Nigeria and China.
Undoubtedly, China is Africa's largest trading partner. So it's important that the relationships between financial institutions also are deepened and also increase and develop at a much bigger and deeper pace.
The vice president of the China Development Bank says that through the bank's cooperation with Africa, several disbursements have been made available thus far.
So far, a total of $3 billion have been disbursed, covering 33 African countries, and created 270,000 for local African jobs. CDB has promoted integration of industrial and supply chains to support Africa industrialization.
Nigeria's vice president, who was represented at the event, assured of government's commitment to ensuring the success of the partnership.
The promise shown by all stakeholders is highly encouraging, and we are determined to ensure that these collaborations continue to thrive.
Experts say that the growing cooperation between financial institutions in China and their counterparts in Africa is poised to strengthen bilateral relations on the continent. They say that this collaboration will drive deeper integration between the financial sectors of both continents. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
In the African setting, boys are heirs. They are given more responsibilities. They are expected to bear so much. They are left uncared for while so much attention is paid to the girl child. While the uncared boys are turned into street urchins, kidnappers, robbers and fraudsters in the south, the northern part of the country is breeding almajiris, bandits and terrorists. It is against this backdrop and a strong desire to stem this trend that concerned stakeholders are seeing tech as a means to take the Nigerian boy child out of the streets. Take a look.
Education is said to be the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world, and technology also has systematically changed how we learn, how we live, and how we do things. Experts in child education say preparing the boy child, especially from Nigeria, for the big shift in web application with courses and programs to bridge this skill gap is the way to go. For Nigeria and Africa to catch up with their counterparts abroad in the emerging world of artificial intelligence, the Boy Code will provide support in a way that suits students' needs, including but not limited to providing laptops, software, seasoned professionals, internship opportunities, and so much more to aid learning.
To build the kind of boy that will become a man that will look for in the society, will look forward to in the society, has to do with education, the environment, peer pressure, innovation, media information, goals and dreams, physical attributes, the empowerment that they get, the mentorship that they get. We need to install a new software for our boys now so that when the hardware of life comes, they can upgrade always.
Non-governmental organizations have a big role to play here, with focus on elevating poverty and educating children across Africa. For these folks, upskilling empowerment aimed at equipping young boys across the continent between the ages of 13 and 20 with tech skills like robotics, web designing, graphics, blockchain education, and other relevant technical skills will go a long way to achieve Nigeria and the continent's tech goals.
Boy Code is an intentional commitment to begin to install in the consciousness of our environment and the world at large the idea that boys do have a right to a level of attention, resources globally, and that this attention and resources are existential rights.
It's a global call to action
It's a blueprint for the future, a convergence of ideas, and a celebration of resilience and brilliance that lies within our young men. It is a space where boys can come together to redefine leadership, embrace vulnerability, and create a ripple effect of transformation that will touch families, communities, and nations.
The ongoing work seeks to make sure that the next generation of men who are now boys are equipped with the information, tools, and mentorship they need.
Polling stations in Namibia's capital, Windhoek, stayed open hours later than planned as hundreds were still queuing to cast their votes in the early hours of Thursday. The election sees the ruling Southwest Africa People's Organization, SWAPO, face the strongest challenge yet to its 34-year grip on power. Logistical issues on Wednesday left thousands of citizens waiting in queues to vote in pivotal presidential and legislative elections, some for up to 12 hours, with polling stations staying open hours later than planned. Well, joining me to speak more on the election, I do have someone joining me all the way from Namibia. Well, I have the lead youth commander from Namibia, Dominga Ndala. Ndala, thank you so much for joining me this very morning.
Good morning to your listeners and viewers. It's always a pleasure
All right.
being here.
Can you tell us how the ECN plans to address concerns of voter suppression and, most importantly, frustration caused by the long waiting time, especially in light of allegations from opposition parties like the IPC?
Thank you so much. We all know that yesterday Namibians took to the poll to vote for the candidates of the National Assembly as well as the presidential candidate. I think the voting process started quite smoothly, but we realized that during the voting process, a lot of polling stations ran out of ballot papers countrywide, and a lot of verification machines of the ECN stopped working. So the frustration started growing, especially among the loterates that came out in their numbers to register to vote. This year, according to the statistics, about 65% of young people came out to vote, and they wanted to renew their mandate. Unfortunately, they could not happen because polling stations were due to close at 9 o'clock in the evening, and most of young people could not cast their vote. So there has really been a growing frustration, and the ECN has not really addressed the important stakeholders in this case, which is the political parties and various election observers. What they rather said was just to release a press statement to say that we should remain put and that they will pronounce themselves in due course. But we have seen that hours later, when a lot of people went back to their respective homes, they had released a press statement stating that polling stations should be open and all those that have not casted their vote should be able to cast their vote. But that directive came around 12 o'clock in the evening when a lot of people were frustrated from standing in long queues, and a lot of people were already turned back to home by the members of the security cluster. So I think these elections, we can't really say that it's going to be free and fair, because as we speak, there's currently some polling station around the country that people are still voting, and some have begun the counting process. So it's a mess, and we hope that the ECN is able to account to the electorates, which are the Namibian people in this case.
All right. Given the technical failures that delayed voting, what steps will the ECN take to improve the reliability and, of course, functionality of electronic voter identification systems for future elections?
As of now, they have not pronounced themselves, but we do know that they have scheduled a meeting with all political parties at 12 o'clock. And during that meeting, that's when they are going to pronounce themselves as to how they are going to go about it next year, because next year we also have regional and local election, as well as 2019, where we have the national and presidential elections. But I think with the ECN, they have complained that they have not anticipated such a high turnout of voters. But it's actually very funny, because at the beginning of the year, when the statistics were released, we were told that about 1.4 million Namibians have registered to vote, or they are rather eligible to vote, and that the ECN printed 3 million ballot papers. So there's no way that all polling stations were going to run out of ballot papers. So basically, this was just an attempt from the ECN to frustrate the voters and perhaps to slow down the voting process. But we are hopeful and we believe that the new dawn is going to come in Namibia and new government will take over.
All right. Let me ask again, how will the government ensure that the voices of young voters who often face challenges assessing polling stations or dealing with technical issues are heard and that they are not disenfranchised by logistical problems?
I mean, it's a sad state of reality. Already a lot of young people were complaining that, especially first-time voters, they've came out in their numbers that this is the first time where they're actually motivated to cast their votes, but there has been a lot of logistical planning. Unfortunately, the only platform that we can, as young people, air our concerns is through our political parties, because they are given a platform where they have the public platform with the ECN where one can air their views. But for now, like I said, the ECN has not done anything. Young people have taken to social media to really register their dissatisfaction with the ECN and the voting process. But unfortunately, that has not really grown or that has not really attract a lot of young people. So I think as it stands, we are going to have to wait for ECN on their pronunciation at 12 o'clock. And we hope whatever is going to be discussed in the meeting, it will be in the benefit of young Namibians, especially young people.
Anyway, I want to say thank you so much for joining us, Lead Youth Commander from Namibia, Dominga Ndala. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thursday morning, the Stilfontein Magistrate Court in Northwest Province in South Africa is said to be the focal point of a growing crisis as at least 300 illegal miners face justice following the arrests at abandoned mines in the area. These individuals were apprehended as they re-emerged from the depths of the abandoned mines, where booming illicit gold mining operation continues to thrive despite ongoing police efforts. Meanwhile, authorities remain vigilant, deployed to guard these sites. There are fears that many more miners, reportedly over 1,000, continue to work underground, navigating treacherous conditions for the promise of quick wealth. I do have joining me this morning our News Central correspondent, Bongani Siziba. Good morning, Bongani. What is the situation of things over there, especially with the miners?
Good morning, Joe, and also good morning to our viewers. I'm just coming outside, inside the court, where the media we had applied so that we can film inside the court. But unfortunately, the judge said these people are still very fragile, and we cannot film as the media. So the media is not allowed inside the court. But however, we are going to get them when they are coming inside the court. We know that we have more than 300 suspects, illegal miners who came out from various mines, shaft mines around here. But just to give a little bit of background so that our viewers can understand, because we also know that there are miners that are trapped. So there are several mines that are here, and some of them are not closed, but we have one mine that is closed where they are trapped miners that cannot come out. But these now that are coming to court, they are coming from other mines that are in the surrounding areas. They could come out from those mines. So that's the difference. So maybe people will be wondering why these miners are being said that they are trapped, but there are some who are in court. So those who are in court are miners that came out from other mines that are in the surrounding areas. But now we are waiting for the proceedings to start. We also know out of 1,000 illegal miners that came out, 96 are minors, which means they are underage. under the age of 18, and they will be taken to social workers, but also they will appear in court. So these are the proceedings that are happening this morning. But also the Minister of Police is said to be coming in Stilfontein tomorrow, just to give the residents and the community here an update about the rescue that is supposed to have resumed on Monday, but we haven't seen anything. It's only just the police that are still at this shaft exit. So, Joe, this is what is happening. We'll keep our viewers updated as the developments come in. Absolutely.
I will look forward to hearing more from you, and please do so. Thank you so much, Bongani Siziba, for joining us. That's all we have for you on the news for this hour. But before we go, let's quickly take a look at some of our major stories. Fire gutted Radio Nigeria office in Ikoyi, Lagos. We brought to you that story. President Tinubu has arrived France on state visit. And we also told you that polling stations stayed open late as thousands wait to vote in Namibia. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and you could always stream live on Facebook and on YouTube. My name is Joe Hansen, thanking you for watching and asking you to stay with us 10 a.m. The ladies will be here with Jasiri. Good morning.